Okay. So. Welcome to Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And this morning, I have as my guest Jordan Ray, who I met through Kaleidoscope's brain injury team call on our team call a few weeks ago, and she's had a brain injury or a brain surgery, and yeah, I took notes on that call, but I'm totally spacing it. So I just like to introduce Jordan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Ah, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Not feeling the best. Been fighting off some new health issues, but can't complain.
Yeah. Yeah, I had heard I know you said the other day that you were dealing with some issues, medical stuff going on, so I wasn't, I'm just glad that it was, that it's okay enough for you to be here today on the call.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still fighting it off, but I rather do stuff like this than have my mind directly on that. So I enjoy doing this. So.
Right on, right on. That's cool. I totally relate. Just, sort of get your mind occupied with some good stuff going on rather than focusing on, little negative stuff that's going on like that. Um, medical issues and pain and so forth.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, the hardest part of this is we still don't know what's going on. So, I mean, I've been doing labs, blood works, tests every single week, probably 3 times a week, and we're still trying to figure out what's going on. And that's really the hardest part about this whole process. It's like I rather know if it's good or bad, but have a treatment plan in place than just scrambling like we are right now.
yeah, I know that I know how that feels going through that whole process. Um, with my with my multiple sclerosis after my car accident, trying to figure out where the symptoms were coming from. They
Right.
were running all these tests and everything and couldn't figure it out where this lightheadedness was coming from. Took them like 6 or 7 months, and finally it's like, wow, that's where it's coming from. Up until then, my mind was, I was trying to keep my mind occupied with other stuff, but still my mind was focusing on where's this, symptom coming from.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, well, a good thing we've eliminated blood clots. I did a D-dimer test. I just heard of what that is. So it shows if there's blood clots, infection, or like cancer. So we've eliminated the blood clots, which is good. I was going to see a cardiologist. My lymph nodes are completely swollen throughout my whole body.
Oh
So,
man.
and I'm in a lot of pain, trouble breathing. I tested negative for COVID because every time you say shortness of breath, people think it's COVID.
Yeah.
I'm good there. I don't have it. So it's just trying to figure it out. But I know everybody, on the show, you're going through a health issue. And if you don't know what it is yet, that is the most stressful part, the beginning. Having that treatment plan in place and a team in place, you just feel 100% better and knowing that you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just feel totally better having a direction to go in, a path, rather than always traveling, with the unknown.
Right.
Yeah. Um, Having a set diagnosis and having something to aim for rather than just, okay, what are we doing here?
Exactly. We're all just sitting there scratching our heads.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and I was just wondering if you could like give us a little background. How old how old are you? How long has it been since uh, your brain surgery? And what was the cause of the what was the reason behind the brain surgery?
Yeah, sure. So right now I'm 22 years old, and the background of me and behind of the brain surgery was I started playing softball when I was 4 years old. My mom played, so they decided to put me in the sport. And once I stepped on that ball field, I fell in love instantly, and I knew this is a sport that I want to play. And by like 7 years old, I was like, I want to be a D1 athlete. So I already had my goal set at 7, 8 years old. And then that's when I joined a competitive travel ball team. And that was the weekends, every single day we were playing games, 9 to 12 games per weekend, traveling. And we get to my junior year, I'm literally days away from receiving offers from schools. And I unexpectedly blacked out on the softball field, running for routine play, and it was a bunt. So I played third base. I was running for it, and I just blacked out. My body became limp for a few seconds. I got up, continued playing because I didn't know what just happened. I thought I just tripped and fell, but to later find out that I have something called Chiari Malformation that I was born with. It's a serious neurological disorder where my cerebellum extends into my spinal canal, blocking my cerebrospinal fluid to and from my brain. So the crazy thing is I was born with it, but I never had one symptom for 17 years, and I was playing a high level of softball for many years. So that was very strange. And I was 17 when I was diagnosed, and 2-3 months after that, the diagnosis, I had the brain surgery.
Okay, Chiari Malformation. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it seems like seems like I know someone else with that. But yeah, that was just just to have that happen out on the ball field when you're out there playing is like whoa, what's going on here?
Right.
And yeah, it's I yeah
Well, I mean, the
and
craziest part of the whole thing is I had a lot of injuries during my career, surgeries, ankle surgeries, broken bones. So, the first thought that went through my head was I just tripped and I heard a pop in the back of my neck before the official blackout. So I thought I just hurt my neck at that point. But when I got up, I had the worst migraine I've ever had. I only had little headaches when I was growing up, just from being in the sun all day long.
yeah.
Horrible migraine. The field lights were expanding. The noise was deafening. And the craziest part was I could not remember who these people were around me. My teammates, my coaches, who I've been with for years. So that's when I knew something was wrong. But as an athlete, you're not going to say, hey, coach, pull me out. Something's wrong. You're going to keep playing as long as you can.
Yeah, man, that that's just that'd be a total trip. Uh, you know, not knowing, just like everything's gone for, temporarily or whatever, not
Mhm.
knowing who these people are. It's like I remember, yeah, it's like I can remember coming to and from my coma after a couple months and not knowing where I was, or who the nurse was and whatever, and
Right.
that was freaky. So I can relate on that aspect. Um, yeah, that would be totally trippy. Um,
It was.
and so short memory here. How long was it until the brain surgery?
Um, 3 months. So I was actually
Months.
diagnosed a week before I turned 18. So September 25th is my birthday, and the surgery was December 1st. So I think it's 3 months. 3 months, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Right on. Um. Well, not right on, but uh. Okay. So, what what exactly? I was just wondering if you could just for myself and the listeners or viewers, um, like what what exactly is the malformation there in Chiari malformation?
Yeah, so it's where your cerebellum is, I guess, bigger than your skull. So the surgery was it to not go, I'm not going to go into detail just in case
Yeah.
someone, doesn't want to hear it, but
Yeah.
you take the back of the skull out to give the cerebellum more room, and the cerebrospinal fluid has more room to flow through properly like a normal skull would.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I totally get that now. Um, yeah. Oh man. So, so after the surgery and since, like, what exactly did they do for the back of, for the back of the skull since they had to remove a section there?
They put, it's called a Dura patch, so someone else's back of their skull. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they put that back there, but they leave it open enough, like I said, for the flow and everything to flow freely.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah,
That's yeah, that's very interesting.
it was a little sketchy when he first told me, because he said if there's no Dura patch available, he's like, we have to cut the whole side of your leg open and take like a huge muscle out to put it back there. And that's where I started getting really concerned, because it's not just the brain surgery anymore; it's other surgeries that we have to do. But
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that there was a Dura patch available, and that is the route we went.
Huh. Yeah, that man. That's a lot to go through right there.
Yeah, and
Um,
I mean, it all kind of happened at once, where you're an athlete for so long, that sport is your identity, and I lost it so quick. I mean, I the whole amount of time that I was an athlete was 13 years. It had to have been about 36,000 hours between games, practice, tournaments for all of those years. And to have it gone in literally less than a second was one of the hardest things to wrap my head around. And then to lose that, and then to be told that I have to get ready for brain surgery. And this was going into my senior year of high school, which is supposed to be the best year of someone's life in high school.
yeah. Yeah, that's man. I just like it's like I can imagine, but it's hard to imagine, hard to believe going through all that, in your, junior and senior year in high school. And especially, like you were saying, losing, you know, you were going into the sport, you were well actually into the sport and about to, go up to the next level or looking at the next level, and then
Right.
all of a sudden it's taken away from you.
Right. And I think it was harder because my mom actually went into remission a month before I blacked out. She had breast cancer. So all of this was happening from my sophomore year was my mom, a little bit of my junior year was still her, then she went into remission, then my blackout, and it's been a mess. But I think the hardest part there was when she got diagnosed, I started pushing myself even harder to get to that next level, because I saw what she sacrificed to let me stay on the field, and what my parents had to do, like I said, to sacrifice and make sure that I was still at all my games, at all my practices, the seasons were paid for. So when she got diagnosed, there was definitely a push there. So then when I lost the sport, I felt a lot of guilt, and I felt like I let them down for a really long time, even though it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's definitely a lot to go through right then. Um, right as about to graduate from high school, get your own stuff going on, to start your own life about that time, going to school, whatever. And man, that's
Yeah.
that's definitely, super tough to be placed on you and have to go through all that right then. Um, yeah, and I know it says on your profile and everything, and I know we went over this on the other call that I met you on. Um, but about your business, Limitless Medical Logs.
Right.
Um, and I was wondering if you could, you know, tell us about that. How did that come about?
Yeah. So like I said, with me being diagnosed, my brain surgery, there was a point where we still had no clue what was going on. When I first blacked out, I went to like an orthopedic. I didn't go to the hospital because, again, I thought nothing was wrong. I went to an orthopedic and he told me, you're fine, it's whiplash. So from then to when I saw my neurosurgeon at the end of August, I had 50 migraines straight. And there was no way for me to like keep track of everything. And so I started going to my neurosurgeon and he told me, keep accurate track of your pain, your symptoms, any triggers. And then I'd look at him and he wouldn't provide a tool to do so. So I started to design one. I was kind of the test dummy, and I also used my mom's experience when she was going through cancer. And that is really the birth of my company, Limitless Medical Logs. We provide physical, all-in-one medical journals for people like me to track pain, symptoms, questions. And I'm really excited for this. We have our app launching very soon. It was supposed to launch in March, but then COVID hit and it screwed everything up. So it will be out very soon.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I know for myself, something like that would have come in very handy. I'm not sure if my parents used something, to keep track of my symptoms and so forth during my recovery from my traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And me with my, going through seeing all my doctors and MS specialists, neurologists, whatever, about regarding my multiple sclerosis. I'm sure something like the Limitless Medical Log would have come in very handy to use just to keep track of symptoms and, how the recovery was going and so forth.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I mean, it all seems to start with kind of like a notebook. That's how it started for me. And I had ankle surgery when I just turned 14, I think. And we used a binder. And that's what it seems everybody uses. But like I said, me being the test dummy, I was able to lay out each page kind of like a roadmap. And the app is the same thing. The app is the same concept of the journal, but in a digital form.
Yeah.
You get the appointment, medication reminders. There's going to be a human body chart where you can accurately lay out, color code your pain. And that's going to be a huge feature because when you go to the doctor and you have pain all over the place and you are frying your brain trying to remember, where it's been. So I'm really excited for that to come out and those features.
Yeah, that'll be very good.
Yeah.
And I can definitely, I can see it now. I can definitely see that helping, a lot of people.
Yeah. And I mean, my mission is to put every patient like myself in the driver's seat of their own health. So for the app, I'm doing a few tiers. So it's pretty much going to be free to download, and a few features are going to be free that even if you had like an ankle injury, you still go to the doctor, you can use that app. But when you get to the reminders and more features, there's going to be a monthly subscription. But I'm trying to keep it free for everybody to have the opportunity to use.
Yeah, right on, right on. Yeah, that's just amazing, to get that going and, provide it to people, to, help other people, and, because that's what it's all about, helping other people.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is I launched a company when I was 20. So this all started happening when I was 17. So from 17 to 20 is when I was building the company up. And I mean, I knew I had to use that grit and determination I had for being an athlete for so long and move it into something else. And I feel a lot of the really great businesses are created from something like this, where the owner or the founder saw a need and created the solution.
Yeah. Well, it's like I can definitely see your Limitless Medical Log, uh, you know, creating a lot of benefits for people all over the world.
Yeah.
I can see it being very helpful, because I know going to, I mean, just take my multiple sclerosis, after my car accident that tripped off the first symptoms, I saw my regular doctor, and then he sent me to neurologists, cardiologists, ear, nose, and throat doctors. I had my blood drawn at least a couple different places. All these different tests being done at different doctors all over. It's like I could, I probably should have used a journal, to keep track of all this stuff. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, I said when I had my brain surgery, I said, I wish I had something like this. But now going through this new set of health issues, I have the journal, and I don't know if you saw the social media posts, a lot of questions I get. And the biggest one is like, how do you know your customers so well? I am a customer. I use this log like crazy, mark it up, draw on it, everything. I mean, right now I'm going from my primary to a cardiologist to the ENT. Now I have to go to an oncologist. So all of these doctors, but I'm using the log and I'm less stressed in that department.
yeah, and that's definitely a winning point, is that it takes away the stress of having to remember, so that when you go to one doctor and, for one issue, he doesn't, he asks you, okay, well, what did this last doctor say about this?
Exactly.
I can't remember. Well, okay, we can't move forward. It's like,
Exactly.
well, no, let me let me look at my medical log here, and okay, here's the answer.
Right.
Um, yeah, makes takes a lot of the stress out, and um, yeah. And I had another question for you regarding regarding your brain surgery.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering, since your brain surgery, have you have you had let's say cognitive issues go on since since the brain injury because of the surgery?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I still to this day have really bad migraines. I brought it down from 6 migraines a week to 3, and I did that through physical therapy, getting stronger. Um, but a lot of the symptoms I have are the memory loss, like you just said, and um, I I'm still a full-time student, so that gets really difficult where, your professors, they'll say, we're here for you if you need any extra time, all this stuff. And then when you need the extra time, they're like, oh no, we can't do that. You got to be like the rest of the students. So it gets really difficult with some of the symptoms that I still have, for one, the business, and then also being a student as well.
Oh, I didn't take that into account. So you're a full-time, are you, so you're a full-time student and you're running this business.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, that's a lot. So, I can definitely see where the medical log comes in handy and takes away a lot of the stress. Because you got enough stress on your plate with school and, your company and doing that work. Um, you know, and that would be rough, having the professors say, offering, saying, hey, we're here if we need you, and then you need them and they're like, no,
They're gone.
sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have programs at the school, but still, I mean, it that's one thing I'd love for the school to change is these disability programs, because it does not, they think that every single person with a disability is exactly the same,
Mhm.
and we're all different, and that's the same with the doctors. And that's where I'm trying to improve the communication with the medical logs, with patient and physician, because the doctors have to get the patient out of this box of they are all the same, and we're not. We all have different symptoms, and it's the same with this disability center at the school I go to. They think we're all the same, and we get no extra support that we need.
Yeah, yeah, it's like so yeah, it's like everyone's disability is different. It's like everyone, you know as well as I that everyone with a brain injury, uh, their symptoms are different, and they deal with it in a different way, and everything's different. Um, as I know with multiple sclerosis, that it's a snowflake disease. Not everyone has the same symptoms, or even if they have the same symptoms, presents them in the same way. It's like everyone's different.
Yeah, exactly.
um yeah, and it's like, you go to a doctor, and the doctor, you know you go to a doctor's office, and the nurse or the doctor looks at your file, and says, okay, well, let's see, you had this going on, and so we need to treat it this way, and because you were
Right.
having this symptom which presented that way.
Yeah.
And they do that with each person, and it's like, it'd be nice if, like in your case, the professor did that, rather than saying, okay, well, you have a disability just like this person had a disability. It's all the same. It's like, look at the file, sort of go in the mind and be like, oh, okay, this person has this going on, rather than, situation that this person had going on,
Right, exactly. I mean, not all professors are like that. The one I have,
Yeah.
I'm taking 3 classes right now, and the one I have right now is there was a point, like a 2 week point, I think maybe 2 weeks ago or 2, 3 weeks ago, where I just was so sick. I was walking around like a zombie, and I missed 2 tests. And I spoke to her. That's where the communication comes in. I spoke to her. I told her not in detail what's going on, but she said, no problem. The end of the class is the end of August. We will just make sure you get all your work in by then. Don't worry about that test due date. We'll figure this out. So, like, they're not all the same, and the same with the doctors. Not all of them will put you in that box.
Yeah. Yeah. So the with the I was yeah, another question came to mind with the memory issues,
Mm.
because of the, since the brain surgery. um I was just wondering, um like, what other, like, how do they affect, how do they affect your daily life, and if so, how, right, other than just, like keeping track of these medical logs.
Yeah, I mean, I have like everybody else, seems like a laundry list of symptoms. Um, the biggest ones are the migraines. Like I said, I brought them from 6 per week. That was a lot. I had one day where I actually felt like a human, down to 3. So my quality of life has been a little better with the lesser migraines, but I get a lot of tingling and numbness in my legs. So if I stand up for like 30 seconds, my whole bottom half goes like numb, which this is all new. I never had any of these symptoms before the surgery, even
Yeah.
between the blackout to the surgery. I only had the migraines. Really bad neck and back pain. You can see I'm kind of moving a lot because I get really uncomfortable sitting. So those 3 migraines, neck and back pain are the top ones that kind of like knocks me out for the day.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. um yeah, I was curious about that. If you know when I was thinking when I was thinking about you earlier, I was, you know that's one thing I was thinking about.
Mm.
um
Yeah, but
was
to add on, because I know I forgot, but for me, physical therapy actually helped with a lot. Getting it stronger, getting the muscles built up again, because I was very strong before all this, and then the surgery just completely made me weak. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to add in there, working out and physical therapy really helped. But the hard thing was a lot of days I couldn't work out because of how high and intense the pain was.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You gotta, it's like, yeah, the working out helps, and exercise helps, but it really helps if you're actually able to
Yeah.
and can move past the other side, well, not necessarily side issues, but the issues preventing, that may prevent the working out or exercise. Um, yeah, that's, I'm just, I'm just amazed that you're actually, you know, went through this brain surgery, and, you know, that you're dealing with, able to deal with the symptoms or side effects of the surgery that did occur, that have happened, the
Mm,
things that do go on since then. And that you can move through those and move past them.
mm,
Like some people just, hit that wall, and it's like, oh, there's the wall. I'm not going any further. Can't go any further. So, but it's like, obviously, you saw that wall and saw a need to go further.
yeah.
And
Well, I mean, I always say that your mindset is 50% of the battle. And, I'm very grateful that I had this sport for so long, because that made me get through adversity every single day, pushing myself past that wall that you just said. Because if I hit that wall and quit, then I'm just a failure. But with an illness, it's a little different. But for me, I do whatever I can to leave everything on the field. That was the saying in softball. And it's the same with school, this business, and my health is to power through, give 110%. There's some days that I just can't, but I'm proud that the other days I was able to give 110%.
yeah, yeah, it's like, I can totally relate with that when I'm out, uh, like on the course of running a marathon. uh, it's like I get to about, probably anywhere from 17 to 19 miles, and hit that point where my calves are just cramping up
Mhm.
hardcore, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm so tired and starting to hurt a bit, and I just want to slow down and rest, maybe stop here, maybe get a ride home, get a ride back to the start, so I can get my car, go home, but I'm like, I've already gone so far, might as well just keep on going, and that mindset kicks in, like, nope, got to keep going, give it 110, 120%, just keep pushing,
Mhm.
and, get to the finish line, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool, I did make it.
Mhm.
And, I,
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually writing a book right now about my story and the whole mindset part of what I've been through and getting to that other side. And a chapter in the book is really going to be based on, we're all dealt a hand of cards, but it doesn't matter like what cards you get. You can either quit or learn how to play that hand. So I'm going to really talk about that a lot, because that is like, it just ties back into your mindset. Me saying it's your mindset is 50% of this battle.
that, yeah, that's totally amazing. I can so relate to that. uh Playing the card, it's not, the cards you're dealt, it's playing the card,
Right.
learning how to play the cards you're dealt.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
like with my brain injury and multiple sclerosis, it wasn't, okay, shoot, I was dealt these cards, fold, I'm not going to play this hand, it's like,
Right.
learn how to play those cards, and, how to live on, how to push, keep going down the path, you know, keep going down the path with the boots that you have,
Hmm.
rather than, trading them in and getting a new pair.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. Uh, yeah. I, that's just, that's something, something that I'm definitely focused on. And of course, with this podcast, positive vibes, putting positive energy out there,
Right.
something I'm focused on a lot is my mindset, and making sure I'm, focused on, positivity and, ability rather than disability. It's like my multiple sclerosis and brain injury. I look at them as, I tend to look at them as re-abilities and not disabilities,
Right.
because, disability means, in my mind, means unable, sort of,
Definitely.
disabled, you're unable now. Well, re-abled, they're re-abilities, because, I have a new mindset, a new way of looking at life.
Right. Yeah. And another thing is kind of, I always get asked about my mindset and how I've been able to, I guess, wire it the way that it is. But it just all goes back to softball because another thing is we would have to take it day by day or game by game. So it doesn't matter. On Saturday is your seeding game. And then Sunday is the elimination. It doesn't matter what Sunday is going to bring if you're in Saturday, because you need to focus on those games that you have in front of you. So I took that little mindset and that nugget and I brought it into my health. And I do the same thing there. And then I also do the same thing with my business. So that has actually made it easier for me when I can sit and focus on today, what I need to get done, if my health is okay or not, and then I can move on to the next day when it's there.
Yeah, that, yeah, it's like there's, going back to the stress thing, it's like, you're trying to deal with today, and if your mind's in tomorrow, then, you're dealing with the stress of trying to be in both days at the same time, and you can't do tomorrow anyway. So just stay in today and get this day done. It's a lot less stress, and you're actually able to get it done rather than you know we're trying to work out tomorrow when it's not even here yet.
Right.
And as well as it may turn out, it may even start out way different than you think it will. And yeah. um so actually, going back to limitless medical logs here. um I was just curious, or maybe reiterating. So you have both physical and an online presence with that limitless medical log, right?
Yeah, we have the physical journal, which is, I don't know why I don't have it over here. It's 6 inches by 8, so it fits in a purse, backpack, briefcase. It's less than a pound. And then the online digital is on your phone, but it's not out yet, and that will be called Limitless. So if you
Okay.
follow the Facebook or the Instagram, or even go onto the website and type in your email at limitlessmedicallogs.com, you'll be alerted once we go live. Even I think we'll send out emails like a week or two before. But on the social media, Limitless Medical Logs, we post about it all the time and you'll stay updated.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to go into my phone here right now and punch that in so I can uh, do that immediately after this podcast, uh, and make sure I did it. I think I did already, but just to make sure, because I want to do that. Um, okay, there we go. Cool. Set myself a little reminder. Um, okay. Yeah. And so this medical log, it's basically, it's not set, it like your design or whatever. It's not designed for one thing in particular. It's good for everyone in every medical condition, correct?
Right, yeah. The if you go on the website, the general one, so it's called the Essential Log, Essential Journal. It's not specific for like a neurological illness, migraines, cancer. It's not specific towards that. And I did that for a reason, because I want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And it's not set like January to December. It's that part is open where you can fill out your start date, and it's for a whole year, the journal. And right now, I actually just launched a give back program. So each month we will be supporting a specific cause. Last month and this month will be for cancer survivors, and I have the journals for literally only $12.99. And I'm going to be donating some to our children's hospital.
Oh, okay, okay, right on. Yeah, that's like so very cool. Giving back to the community, where it's needed.
Right.
And it's like I feel that's very important. It's like I yeah, it's giving, even if it's just being there at the support groups, you know, for the brain injury support groups that I've gone to, or the MS support groups that I've gone to, being
Right.
there, you know, being there just to, maybe share my story, maybe help someone, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I get asked a lot, why do I share my story so much? Because I've done a lot of interviews and I'm still working on them, trying to get better.
Yeah.
But I share my story so much because my story might be someone else's survival guide down the road. And so that's really why I'm doing it. Because when I was first diagnosed, I felt like so alone, even though I had an incredible support group, but they weren't the one dealing with this pain or on the operating room table. I was. So it was really difficult in the beginning.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why I like doing that, is because it's like, sharing my stories, and you know now with this podcast, having yourself and other people share their stories,
Right.
is to get the stories out there, showing that, hey, look, there is a positive side to this. Don't give up now. Keep on going.
Exactly.
There's more out there. You can do this. You can go on. You got this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, we get to a certain point. I know for myself, get to a certain point, um, and it's like, you hit that wall, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh, you hit that wall, sort of fall down maybe a little bit, maybe all the way to the ground, and you're like, oh man, it's hard to go on, or I can't go on, stuck here, and then it's like, no, I got to keep moving, got to keep going.
Right. I mean, I always say it doesn't matter how many times you fall as long as you get up. So,
Yeah, there's a saying I saw not too long ago. It says, like, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
really good quote.
it's like, doesn't matter if you keep how many times you fall. That's part of life. Just keep getting back up and keep moving, keep going on.
Exactly.
We go to sleep every night, but we get back up every morning. So,
Hmm.
it's the same principle.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So just as for a contact, just go to limitlessmedicallogs.com.
Yeah, I mean, that's the website, but the social media were more active than updating the website. So, if like meaning if someone wants to email or send a DM or reach out to me, my personal Instagram is Jordan Ray 25. And yeah, I mean, I try to connect with everybody who reaches out. So yeah.
Okay, right on. Yeah, and I'll definitely be putting a link or links on my post regarding this podcast.
Okay, perfect.
Um, yeah, and so I just want to thank you so very, very much for being on the show today, being on the show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, um, today, and sharing a bit of your story, and what you've gone through, what you're about today,
Yeah, thank
and
you for having me. I appreciate it.
yeah, and what you're doing to keep moving forward,
Hmm.
and putting out those positive vibes, um, and like we were talking about, helping the community, rather than just hitting that wall and sitting there.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's like sitting up against a wall for a long time, that would get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
um all right, well, I guess that's about it. So yeah, thank you very much for being on the show today, Jordan. And I wish you nothing but luck with Limitless Medical Logs and your future. So, and
Thank you.
we'll definitely be in contact. So,
Yeah, definitely with Heath and Kaleidoscope, and yeah, and you'll be alerted when the app goes live, and So you'll stay in touch, and we'll keep going.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And we, just got to keep moving forward.
Yep, definitely. All right, thanks again.
All right. Thank you. And you have a phenomenal day.
You as well.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today on another edition of Positive Vibes. And I guess this is sort of my birthday edition since I just turned, since my birthday was just, it was just on Wednesday. So what was that, 4 days ago? Something. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days ago. Took me a moment there. um, but anyway, yeah, thank you for joining me on another edition of Positive Vibes. And I hope you have a very positive week and just stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, my friends, and have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week until I, see you next time on my show. All right. Well, I guess I'll talk to you later. Ciao. Okay. Did I do that already? And